You are live.
Thank you, Sutton. Good evening. Quite a turnout tonight. So this is exciting. If you would please join me with the invocation, and then that'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all the blessings that you've given us. We thank you for providing us the opportunity to serve the citizens of Elkins. We ask that you help us to remain open-minded and civil, and that you guide us in our decision-making to help our community grow. We also ask that you watch over and guide our country's leaders. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. I now call the meeting to order of the Elkins Common Council, and I will ask our city clerk to take roll, please.
Councilor Ross Fraganera.
Here.
Councilor Chenoweth.
Here.
Councilor Kwanzo. Councilor Friddle.
Here.
Councilor Guy.
Present.
Councilor Higgins.
Here.
Councilor Hinchman.
Here.
Councilor Lowther.
Here.
Councilor Parker.
Here.
Councilor Vest.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Looking at the agenda, we have 4 items to adjust, and we will address those shortly. But now we will open it up to public comment, please. And if you would, please use the microphone.
Good evening. Is that
You
good?
can move it, that's fine.
Is it working? All righty. I'm Lisa Wood, 345 Harpertown Road in Elkins. I serve as the Executive Director of the Elkins-Randolph County Chamber, and I'd like to comment on the new business item that you're voting on, letter P, in this evening's agenda. The Chamber is requesting $5,000 from the city, as we did in 2020, to help fund the second annual Christmas Lights Display Contest during the upcoming holiday season. These funds help us organize the event and award winners substantial cash prizes, incentive indeed, to light up their homes and businesses. In our first contest during the 2020 holiday season, we had 78 participants, 30 businesses, and almost 50 residences, and that doesn't include those who participated but didn't register. A lot of people did that. While we have no way to determine exactly how many people drove around each evening with the help of our Google map and saw the displays, we learned from our participants that they had steady streams of cars driving slowly by their homes and businesses every evening. Our Facebook posts were shared often. We received hundreds of positive likes and comments throughout the 3 weeks that the displays were lit up, and the video of our winners alone reached over 9,000 Facebook users. While we obviously believe the Christmas Lights Display Contest is worthy of city support, its role is even more important when you consider it as just one of the components of our hometown becoming known as West Virginia's Christmas community. Over the past few years, many in the Elkins-Randolph County community have recognized we are a holiday destination. To continue to grow this aspect of our tourism economy and promote ourselves as such, we can't let this momentum stall. Here are just a few of the past, present, and future activities that we could include in an annual Jingle Fest. A Christmas train, the Polar Express, or something like that. The Chamber's annual Christmas parade through downtown with events at the YMCA. Illuminated snowflakes we already have throughout the town, maybe even more. Santa's workshops, the merchant engagement program that they do with families at local businesses. Small Business Saturday, Comp House tours and other venue tours in our community. A Dickens Christmas play, Dickens Christmas carolers or improv actors interacting with shoppers and tourists. Mountain Memories Christmas at the Gandy Dancer. A winter market like a holiday farmer's market. A celebration of lights like they do at Morris Park in Fairmont, Marion County. A family-centered weekend event at the Old Brick. And other events I've either neglected to mention or haven't even dreamed of yet. We are limited only by our imagination. During the holiday season, our community is transformed into a magical place with families in their pajamas traipsing through the snow. You can find them making elf hats at the Sewing Center, Sue's here, eating donuts at Bird's, or framing a Christmas card at Talbot's Frame Shop. They're sipping hot chocolate at the crossings, buying ornaments at Artists at Work, and enjoying lattes at Tip Top. And that's just downtown. Within 5 minutes, there's more shopping, more dining, and more activities. And we're a gateway to the Mon Forest with outdoor winter activities aplenty. Both our residents and visitors want to experience all our community has to offer, especially during the holidays. The Christmas light display contest adds to this excitement and activity. It gets folks spending time in the community and spending their money too. The Christmas light display contest may have been born out of a pandemic, but that doesn't negate its impact on both the local economy and the mindset of our citizenry. We all know the majesty and beauty of our hometown, particularly when it's aglow with Christmas lights and Mother Nature's blanket of snow. But we don't want to keep it a secret. In fact, we want to do just the opposite. We want to continue to enhance our holiday events and activities each year through focused promotion. I ask you to partner with the Chamber, Elkins Main Street, Elkins Randolph County Tourism, Old Brick Playhouse, and the entire Elkins Randolph County business community in keeping our Christmas lights display contest alive and moving toward that designation as West Virginia's Christmas community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Wendy Morgan. I work at Davis and Elkins College. I serve as a member of the Elkins Randolph County Chamber Board of Directors and as chair of the Network Committee. Over the years, I've had the privilege of working with the Chamber and the community on the Christmas Parade, more specifically in the YMCA, helping with activities for children. It has been great fun on the day of the Christmas Parade to share in the excitement for the season with the children from all over our community. Last year, because we weren't able to have parade and activities, we had to get a little more creative. And from that, the idea of the Christmas Lights Display Contest was born. I live at 537 Mill Run Lane, also known as Route 1 of Lower Cheat. And I have family ties to Helvetia and Pickens area. I know that I don't have to tell you this, but last year was tough to get into the Christmas spirit. But after the announcement of this contest, it seemed to get everyone excited about not only putting their displays up, but it also served as an invitation to areas all over the county and areas that sometimes feel forgotten. It was wonderful to see the displays and to be able to map it out for those who love to look at Christmas lights. The competition was friendly, and I know that there are many looking forward to being on that map again. Thank you for your consideration in funding this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for public comment?
Hi, my name is Michael Hayes. I live out Cravensdale. I'm going to give you two last perspectives on new business item P as well for the Christmas Lights Contest. First perspective is as a business owner, my wife and I own Mountain Gymnastics Academy up behind Elkins Inn. And as a gymnastics facility, of course, we're very concerned with the number of little ones we have in town, because that's the driver of our business. And so we pay attention to that. And one of the comments that we often get from our customers is there isn't enough to do with little kids in this town. And we're happy to provide a service for that. But for the month of December, there was certainly something to do every evening with the Christmas lights display last year. And I don't think we're going to solve the desire to have a wonderful place to live and work and raise a family in one fell swoop. It's going to be lots and lots of little things. And I believe the Christmas Lights Contest is a wonderful little thing with a huge ROI in terms of satisfaction for the families in town. And the other perspective I have is as a father. I've got two 20-something-year-old daughters and a 9-year-old here with me. And for probably 20 years, every year, we would go out and drive around and look for Christmas lights. We moved to Elkins in 2016, and we drove around and we didn't see much. And so what did we do? We went to Clarksburg. We went to Morgantown. And we ate dinner there, and maybe we saw a movie there. And we did that because it was our tradition. So we spent money, we had a good time, but we would love to have done it here. When we heard about the contest last year, we were thrilled, and we drove around probably 2 or 3 times on 2 or 3 different nights and had an absolute ball doing it. I really, really recommend you keep it going, and let's not snuff out this tradition while it's just budding, because it's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for public comment?
We won't fight. Kathy Vance, 122 Second Street. For over 20 years, I have been instrumental in putting out Christmas decorations for the city of Elkins. And last year, I won second place in the Christmas lighting contest that the chamber offered. I shared that honor with ERCC, which I also do their decorations for them. So it was a proud honor for me to receive that in both aspects. I drove around the night that we gave the awards out with Wendy and Lisa, and I will tell you that these people put in a lot of time and money and love in their decorations. The one that we visited out at Alpena was just mind-boggling. You just had to go see it. And so I would like to encourage the city to partner with the chamber to continue this lighting display contest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Missy McCollum, director of the Old Brick Playhouse. And I just wanted to start with a little story. My business partner, Phil Smith, was about to have a valve replacement at WVU, and they were getting ready to put him to sleep. And the anesthesiologist said, I'm gonna start counting backwards, but first, can you get me tickets to the Polar Express? He was on the table. And the surgeon said, we love going to Randolph County at Christmas time. So, in the words of my father, if we have people coming here and they're used to coming here, we ought to trap them here. And we have people that come from all over the country to ride our trains, and I've been on most of those trains, and what they say to me is, what can we do next? So we haven't had a train for 2 years, but I don't want our guests and our visitors to get used to the idea that we don't have Christmas in Elkins. So I feel like we need to continue that excitement so when the train comes back next year, we'll have even more things for them to do. And it's a boost in the economy. When we run the train, I hire 72 people to work on that train, and about 103 of our youth volunteer. So I think the Christmas light display contest is a no-brainer. We want people to come here to enjoy Christmas. Also, we were the recipients of the prize last year. My staff is amazing. I said, make a beautiful window display and spend no money. They did it, all right? And I just want to say, as we sat in the old brick, we saw family after family walk past. And in my opinion, that's what we're trying to do here. So I would just like to recommend that we keep this going and that you'll include it in your budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Eric Hiner, as most of y'all know. Well, Tuesday morning, we had an accident. You all probably know about that. The young man wrecked the truck because he fell asleep at the wheel. This is due to lack of personnel and long hours. I just come to ask you all again tonight if y'all can help out with something like that. We need more personnel, for sure. We gotta work the hours. Our system's in bad shape. We can't get around that. It's horrible. I mean, a lot of this pipe was put in 1908. It ain't standing the test of time. I realize finances are what they are, but I think we need to dig deeper and try to find something. Lighten the workload and help our town out. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment? Okay, then we have a presentation from Mr. David Clark from the Woodlands Development Group.
Good evening. Thanks for giving me a spot on the agenda. I'm Dave Clark. I'm the Director of Woodlands, and I'm here to give what's really become, I think, an annual update on what we have going on in the city of Elkins. I think you probably all know we work in 3 counties. We work in Randolph, Barber, and Tucker counties. We're based here in Elkins. We work, our main office, we moved down to the 3rd floor of the Del Monte about a year and a half ago. So we're down there now and encourage people to come visit us. And I think as also, you probably know, we really have 2 arms. We do some small business lending and assistance to businesses, and we also do some community-based real estate development. So let me just start briefly on the lending side. So we provide alternative financing to businesses. We do a lot of technical assistance and a lot of different forms of handholding. Last year, in this last calendar year of Elkins, so we supported 23 businesses in some form or another. During COVID, we were able to take a lot of our technical assistance money and use it to help businesses, really a lot of them convert to online sales platforms. So I think we counted up at least 7 businesses. We created new websites and new platforms for them in downtown Elkins. Touched about 58 jobs. We loaned out $250,000. Most of the loans we do are with our local banks. So we're doing some partnership lending with all of our community banks here. We loaned out about $250,000. The banks in those same deals put in about $500,000 in to those same businesses. We have both kind of a regular loan fund. We still have loan funds available for COVID relief and recovery. So these are very low interest, long-term loans that are meant to get affordable capital back into the hands of businesses that could use some additional capital. So please send them our way if you know anybody out there. Part of what we also do, particularly in the smaller towns in our area, we kind of lump it together in community facility work. So we help with a lot of parks and trails, green space, community centers. So under that, this last year, we were asked to be part of a cohort of a couple of other groups in the state to take a look at a new approach to broadband development and high-speed internet delivery into our underserved areas. So as a function of that, we were awarded $2.5 million from the Appalachian Regional Commission just last month to run a fiber line from Elkins to Harmon and up through Dry Fork and on up towards Canaan, up that way. So this is a new endeavor for us, nothing we've ever done before, but we got a lot of good help and anxious to get started on that. In terms of our development work, several years ago, and some of you were involved in this, there were a series of roundtables we held in the city and county around the growing senior population and the need for additional housing as well as additional services for seniors. As a function of that, on our part, a couple different projects came out. One was the Grace Davis Residences behind Gomart. That's an independent living facility we completed at the end of last year in partnership with Davis Health. So Davis Health is providing services to the tenants that are in that building. The other one that came out was the need for more what I call mixed generation housing developments. That a lot of seniors came back and said they really wanted to live in, needed some newer housing closer to town, but they didn't want to just be in a senior housing complex. They wanted to be in with families. So later this month, we're starting construction on Firefly Commons, which is a new housing development down Wilson Lane, kind of behind the Tigard Apartments, if you know that area. So kind of behind the Ace Hardware down there. That'll be a 16-unit, it's about a $3.5 million project that'll take us, about a year to construct. We have all the financing together for that though, and all of our subcontractors lined up. We're anxious to get started. Thanks to many of the staff of the city who have helped us move that project forward. That's been great to work with them. Henry Avenue, most of you remember, we were able to secure ownership of the old yellow 2-story brick apartment building on Henry Avenue across from Central School. We were able to get that, demolish the building, which unfortunately was beyond repair, We have secured financing for the redevelopment of that site. I'll be building a duplex up there. It's going to be 3 bedrooms, so kind of gearing it towards families over there. We were really hoping to get that started this year, but COVID has just pushed everything back. So it's going to be spring of next year, but we do have all the financing and everything committed on that project as well. Our vacant and dilapidated property initiative, so as you all know, working with the city, we have been working on the River Street property where the house burned down earlier this year. We've gotten all the financing together to redevelop on that site. We don't yet have actual ownership of that. There's a couple little headaches with the title. We're going to work through those, but we don't actually own that lot yet. But we do have financing fully committed now for going to rebuild a nice 2-story house down there. I think that's going to fit really well on that lot. So we're excited about that project as well. And then, of course, the Tigard Hotel. So we had a meeting last week in the Tigard. A couple of you were able to attend. It is coming together quickly. I think, as you all know, we live in a rural area with sometimes fewer resources than our urban counterparts often have. So in order for us to make a large project like that work, we often have to put together smaller pieces of financing to make it all come together. It will be a $16 million project now. We have a great team on board. So we have a Mills Group as the project architect. A hotel management company out of Lexington, Virginia is on board to manage it, Taylor Hospitality. We've signed into a franchise agreement with Choice Hotels and their boutique arm called the Ascend Collection. So they're fully on board and going to be supporting that as well. We are committed to getting all the financing wrapped up this calendar year, and we're pretty much there. We have all that. Last I counted, we have 12 different lenders, investors in the project, and so we're solidifying all those commitments. We will be then getting started on construction at the beginning of '22. Looking at about a 16 to 18 month construction period, so opening up ideally in the spring of '23. We'll be a 56-room hotel. We're gonna have a restaurant and bar downstairs. There'll be a banquet room up on the 2nd floor in the front, and that'll open up. We're gonna restore the balcony that went over Davis Avenue up there. So, yeah, I think that's all I have this evening. All right.
Are there
Thank
any
you very much.
questions?
Can I ask a couple questions?
Absolutely, sir.
First, I'd like to compliment you on the work you've done on the Tigard. That's a game changer for downtown Elkins, and I think it's going to provide momentum for what's happening already. And you all are to be commended. Everybody that's involved with that needs to be commended. Question about the COVID relief money, Dave.
Yes.
Is that a grant?
No, that's structured as a loan. So it's a
what-
1.5% loan. It's termed out with a 30-year term, or amortization, I should say.
Okay.
So it's meant to get really cheap capital, but it is a loan,
What's the max that you
up to
can?
$40,000.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure. And it was a good point earlier. I should also commend our local community banks on the Tigard Hotel have really stepped up. So Davis Trust Company, Freedom Bank, Pendleton Community Bank, just down the road, have all committed investments in the project. And that's really key financing, without which none of this would be going forward. So they're great. And I also should say, too, we fully plan, we've been working with Municipal Properties Committee. We fully plan on getting back in front of them next month to kind of finalize a parking plan for the Tigard as well. So that'll be back in front of council, I'm sure.
Are there any
Other
other questions?
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Absolutely, sir.
What's the status of the River Street property that the city and Woodlands partnered on with respect to the burned down property that the city demolished and Woodlands was going to
Yes.
develop?
So that's the one I referenced earlier. So we do have full financing committed to develop a single-family home on there. We have not yet gotten title to, there's a couple of headaches with the title. We're working through that. I'll say all the taxes have been redeemed, and so we're ready to go as soon as the title issues are cleared up on that one.
Okay.
We're hoping to get started on construction this fall. It may have to get pushed to the spring, depending on how long these title issues take. But as I said, all of our financing is now committed on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Clark, and thank you for your efforts.
All right, thank you all.
Before we move on, I'm going to take a liberty here and kind of go off script just a little bit. And I would like for all the firemen in this room to please stand up. I'm proud to say, since taking office on April 1st, this is going to be the third fireman that we've actually been able to hire. And unfortunately, our sister town, Buchanan, suffered a downtown fire on Tuesday, and our guys were very quick to respond. I have a message from myself and from the mayor over there, Robbie Skinner. Without your assistance, they could have potentially lost an entire downtown business area. So I want to commend you. I want to thank you. He greatly appreciated your efforts. He tried to get around to shake everybody's hands, but in case he missed it, he said he wanted to extend his appreciation. And from the city of Elkins, we thank you for what you do every day. And with that, I will turn it over to the chief. So Chief Hines, if you'll please come forward. And Derek needs to come forward. Okay.
They usually have them come and stand here.
I'll get out of your way.
Media's not here.
Derek, I'll have you raise your right hand. It is hereby certified that you have been appointed as a firefighter for the city of Elkins, West Virginia. If you'll repeat after me. I, Derek Edward Sicca,
I, Derek Edward Sicca,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute the duties of firefighter.
to faithfully execute
the duties
the
of
duties of a firefighter
for the city of Elkins,
for the city of Elkins,
to selflessly serve
to selflessly serve
the citizens of Elkins
the citizens of Elkins
with respect, integrity, and excellence,
with respect, integrity, and excellence,
and to uphold the mission of the Elkins Fire Department,
and to uphold the excellence of the Elkins Fire Department,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of the state,
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Elkins,
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Elkins,
so long as I may continue therein.
so long that I may continue
Therein.
therein.
Congratulations. You sign this before you, and I'll be able to copy of this. Just a second. Thank you.
So since I'm taking liberties, I'm going to take one more and ask for one more round of applause for our firefighters in this room. Thank you for what you guys do day in and day out, because I know there's a lot of training involved. Okay, moving on, the minutes. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting of September 16th, 2021.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Down to new business. Resolution 1441, approving the promotions of and establishing new compensation levels for OPO and T. Harris. That was kind of fun to say, I have to admit, OPO. So I'm looking for a motion to accept, please.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Resolution 1442, approving the promotion of and establishing a new compensation level for S. Davis. I'm looking for a motion to accept, please.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Resolution 1443, approving the promotion of and establishing a new compensation level for R. Belt. I'm looking for a motion to accept, please.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Resolution 1444, approving invoices relating to the City Hall parking lot project. I'm looking for a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion?
Question,
Sir.
can someone tell me what the original bid on the parking lot was when we opened the bids and how much it is with these change orders?
The change orders are the next item on the agenda, but the original bid was $849,594. With the addition, the change orders, total is $885,112.24.
Thank you.
Any other comments or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Resolution 1445, City of Elkins Parking Lot Project Change Order 11 through 14. Looking for a motion to accept?
So moved.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion?
Madam Clerk, could you, excuse me, just give us a very quick synopsis of what those change orders are?
Sure, so the previous 1 through 10 were approved previously by council, so tonight you're considering changes 11 through 14. 11 was a tree removal on 4th Street and Railroad Avenue, and this was in conjunction with the tree board who wanted some of the trees removed, replaced. Some of them are being replaced with the tree grates. The additional light fixture on pole P2 is the light fixture that's located at the front of the police department parking area. Originally, that was going to be a 3-headed light fixture. We added a 4th head that will shine out onto Davis Avenue with the intention of removing the existing older pole that's right in front of it. It's only about 10 feet away from it. So the intention is to take that one down, so we wanted to make sure that that light was replaced. Next is the installation of river rock at the transformer pad. Originally, we discussed landscaping there, but after more discussion about it, the potential for putting in a generator at some point, decided it was better just to put the rock in instead of the landscaping. And the last one was to form and pour concrete approaches. The approach on the 4th Street side that comes into the parking lots currently still has a barrier in front of it. And the approach, I believe it's the one by the police department, instead of using the final wearing that will go across the parking lot, they made those out of concrete instead, so that they would be a little more flush with the sidewalk.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Resolution 1446, approving agreement with Terra Flora Landscaping for ground maintenance of the City Hall parking lot. I'm looking for a motion to accept, please.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion. Any comments or discussion?
I would like to see the watering added to that contract, just to be sure that we're not,
It is. I confirmed with Mr. Davis that it would be included at no extra cost.
Pardon?
At no extra cost to what
Okay.
was quoted in
Can
the,
we just make sure it's in the contract, though?
yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I couldn't hear that too well. Was that agreement that the trees and the landscaping will be watered?
Correct.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Resolution 1447, approval of budget revision 2022-001-02 for fiscal year 2022. Looking for a motion to accept, please. I'm sorry, this is a roll call vote.
Well, you still need
Well,
a
still need a
motion.
motion first. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
All right, Marilyn. Any comments or discussion?
What is the budget revision?
So if you recall, the Phil Gaynor Center was getting a synthetic floor. And if you look at the budget revisions under the revenues, we have a little bit of excess revenues in the payment in lieu of taxes. And then the miscellaneous revenues, the large majority of that are donations specifically for that floor. And because that's all part of the general fund, then it would go under the expenditure item of the Phil Gaynor Center to pay for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? Then I'll ask the clerk to take a roll call vote, please.
Roll call for Resolution 1447. Counselor Friddle,
Yes.
Counselor Chenoweth,
Yes.
Counselor Bras Fragonera,
Yes.
Counselor Quanzo,
Yes.
Counselor Hinchman,
Yes.
Counselor Vest,
Yes.
Counselor Higgins,
Yes.
Counselor Parker,
Yes.
Counselor Guy,
Yes.
Counselor Lowther.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 1448, amending the City of Elkins Personnel Policy, Chapter 10, Holidays and Personal Days. Personal days, sorry, excuse me. I'm looking for a motion to accept, please.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Any comments or questions?
I'll just say that this, just for everyone's edification, this came out of personnel. So we were presented with an opportunity to see if the city of Elkins wanted to align with the federal government and state government and also recognize Juneteenth as a city holiday. So the Personnel Committee discussed that, decided that it did. The only concern was that since West Virginia is a little bit unique in having West Virginia Day and celebrating West Virginia Day, that June 19th and June 20th fall so close with one another that like this year it led to a extremely long weekend. And the concern was that if it falls in the middle of the week, it's going to lead to 2 days where the city of Elkins isn't open. So the idea was we'll honor the holiday, but I guess celebrate it in the form of giving the employees a personal day to really expend when they choose, instead of having June 19th and June 20th, the city of Elkins closed on those 2 consecutive days.
Any other comments or questions on this? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Resolution 1449, amending the City of Elkins Personnel Policy, Chapter 5E, Travel for Official Business and Training Seminars.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Any comments or discussion?
I just had a quick question. What are we amending exactly? I wasn't super clear.
I can speak to that if you like.
Yes, please.
So this is section 5E, and it refers to what was initially or what is currently in the personnel policy, details meal allowances, and that receipts are required for reimbursement of those. So what we're suggesting, recommending, and this kind of came from discussion amongst the admin officers, we took the request to personnel, is to align with the federal system using their meals and incidental reimbursement, where it's based on the location that you travel to, travel days, or you have meals that would not be counted. It's broken down into 3 different meals a day. It's easier to keep track of that instead of just reimbursing exact amounts, and then employees don't have to keep receipts and turn those in.
Gotcha.
Just a standard amount that would be issued.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I think it's a great idea to go to a per diem. That's a good move. Thank you.
If I could add just one thing to that, part of that was the state purchasing card. The state auditor has wanted municipalities using that card to move away from purchasing meals with that, so that would be one of the ways that we can do that.
Correct. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Resolution 1450, adopting and implementing an amended City of Elkins organizational chart. I'm looking for a motion to accept, please.
Motion to accept.
Okay, we have a motion. Thank you, Ms. Linda. Any comments or discussion?
Can somebody explain what the difference is between the old one? I can't quite remember.
Do you want to?
I can do that.
Thank you.
Under the old organizational chart,
Rob, counsel, can you get? Thank you.
sure, sorry. The municipal clerk, the clerk of the court, was supervised by both the city treasurer as well as the municipal judge. And I think that was done several years ago based upon concerns that the city had with one particular municipal clerk that no longer works here. So we discussed it in personnel, discussed it with the municipal court judge, discussed it with the treasurer, and just that scenario, that dual supervision of a single employee just wasn't working anymore. I think it was causing more problems than it was solving. So we basically decided that the municipal judge will supervise the municipal clerk, and that just makes it a better situation.
Sounds good.
Any other comments or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Down to K, Resolution 1451, appointment of V. White to the Elkins Sanitary Board. I'm looking for a motion to accept, please.
I move.
Okay, we have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If none, then all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. L, discussion of the ARPA fund recommendations. Counselor Henchman.
You want to take that, Jessica, or say which ones do you want to start with?
That's up to you. I'm happy to explain if you
Okay.
like.
Well, the ARPA committee moved to give the addiction and the homeless $5,000. Then the clerk's office, we moved to redo the website, which was approximately $10,000. And then also agenda software, both coming to about $31,000. Are we ready to move on anything else?
Yes, also included was the recommendations from this most recent meeting for 5% to be applied for sewer and water assessments, and the 5% for community requests.
Correct.
Question, how much?
Was it 7? I thought,
No,
It was 5.
no, it's 5.
okay.
I have several questions. How much is 5%?
About 154,000.
Okay. And what will the $5,000 for, was it homeless?
Homeless and the
It's for
addiction.
the mayor's task force. I'll let either him or
I
Mr.
can address that,
Chairman
actually.
How that will be spent? How will that be spent?
We're actually looking at the peer recovery support specialists, which is kind of the linchpin. So these are the individuals that will interact with the citizens that we have that are suffering addiction. So when our first responders go out and encounter somebody and they're asking for help, these individuals come out. So it's for training for those individuals. It's a model that is used throughout the state right now.
So, and who are those people?
We're looking to identify now. We have 2 on board, and we're looking to identify up to possibly 10.
Okay.
So, and that money will train those 10.
So are we going to vote on these as a whole or individually?
I think that's whatever you prefer. Yeah. You can, whatever motion is made to approve them,
Correct.
that'll determine the vote.
Just ask.
So I'll ask for a motion then on how you want to approve these. individually or as a group?
I move they're voted on as a whole.
Okay, we have a motion. Any comments or discussion? Mr. Parker?
Councilor Friddle, as regard your concerns and your questions, this is a relatively small appropriation for which we're asking. And to put together the peer recovery teams is really a critical first step for this community, because there are, just generally speaking, there are not peer recovery teams for anyone who's looking to get control of their life again. These teams are the first go-to people who essentially advocate for folks who are serious about making a change in their lives. And we are explicitly talking about people with addiction issues. These are the recovery teams are the people who guide them to the resources that they need. And that would be detox, that would be more long-term treatment, that would be sober living, housing, it would be medical care, and they would also be the people who would connect them, if necessary, with the other organizations, of which we have many in the community, thank God, who are looking to issues such as clothing, food, and if not sober living facilities, at least some housing that's decent, that's not under a bridge or a vacant structure. Those teams, the peer recovery teams, need to be trained and certified. This money will help to do that. It will help to get them trained. It will see to that. And it will also get them through the certification process. We have several individuals identified now, but we have held back from actively enlisting people, if you will, because we wanted to be sure that council would approve this funding, so we didn't put our feet in our mouth. We need to have a high level of credibility in each step of this, which is why it's been a very considered process to this point. And we didn't want to blow that credibility by saying, hey, y'all, come on, we'll get you on board, and then we can't get them trained and certified. We're in a good position to do that now.
Thank you very much, Councilman. May I ask you two questions?
Yes, sir.
One is, who will actually oversee the disbursement of this money?
The disbursement, what we have discussed, and I think it may actually have the fewest complications, because as you know, Counselor, I don't like to make things unnecessarily complicated. It gives me a headache. The most recent thing that we discussed that I think makes the most sense is that both we and the county commission would put our seed money for this work with the health department and let them administer it. They are a public entity. We don't have concerns about their competence or qualifications to do that.
Second question is, do you anticipate that the organization that we're funding, the $5,000, do you anticipate that sometime down the road they'll be coming back and asking for additional money?
No, I don't, because our commitment is to get them trained up, Charlie. It's to see to it that they're properly trained, vetted, and certified. And there's a pretty rigorous vetting process at the state level that has to be gone through. But beyond getting them started, no. This is not like we're forming a new organization that's going to have to be maintained. The city, that will not fall to the city. It's not our baby.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If I could add something for you also, Chairman Friddle, or Councilor Friddle, sorry. There's also grant money available out there that we're going to be applying for to pay salaries, to compensate them for the hours that they're actually working. So all we're doing is taking the seed money, as Councilor Parker said, and trying to get them trained. and then we're going after grant money to actually compensate them for their hours served.
Well, I certainly appreciate all the work that you all have done, and I'm very complimentary of that. My concern is sometimes with these kinds of actions, it's the beginning of a downhill slide into significant amounts of money. And I could envision that even with grant money, Mr. Mayor, that there could be matches that are required, and we get backed into a corner and say, you know, we've got a grant for $100,000, but we're going to need to match it $50,000. And I don't want to see the city doing something that other organizations in the state have a responsibility to do. However, with that said, I will support this motion.
I appreciate that. And to kind of, I guess, address your concern, we're using a couple other cities that have already went down this path that are kind of guiding us, and the grants that they've identified are not matching grants because we did ask those questions. So
Thank you very much, sir.
thank you very much. So we have a motion. Any other comments or discussion on this? I thought Marilyn had a question. She was leading on. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Resolution 1452, authorizing conditions of a contract between Civic Plus and the City of Elkins and authorizing execution of contract. I'm looking for a motion to accept, please.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion?
Can you explain just exactly what that's going to do?
This is the agreement with Civic Plus. It's the agenda management software that will be paid for by the ARPA funds that were just approved.
Thank you, ma'am.
And our city attorney did vet both the scope of work and the master service agreement and found nothing that needed adjusted.
That's great.
Any other comments or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Down to N, the flood control report.
Mr. Mayor, I would move we go into executive session to discuss the flood control report.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll go to
Excuse
executive.
me. Is that
Yes, I was just going to ask if Wes Lambert can go into executive
The people
session.
who should be included in addition to council is Wes, Melody, and Jessica, in addition to the mayor.
And our city attorney, please.
Pardon me?
And our city attorney also, please.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
To those watching at home, we will be pausing the live stream until council returns from executive session.